I think Ruedi is a lunatic to some extent. He was professor at the University of Zurich, and at the end of his career, when normal people retire and lean back a little bit, he restarted full scale in Harare, the Newlands Clinic. You need to be a little bit a lunatic because he really chose one of the most complicated places on earth to start an HIV clinic.
There were initially hundreds of hurdles and actually a lot of brick walls erected just to stop him in his tracks.
When he came, I remember talking to some of the bosses from ministry. He was not a popular guy. They would be glad if he didn't attend meetings. 2 weeks into my job, I had made up my mind that at the end of the month I was leaving because Professor Lüthy was, in my view, a difficult man to work with.
In the first few weeks, I wondered whether I was in the right place.
I almost left, I think 3 months, because I just thought, this is not an easy person to work with.
He was determined. You know, when he decided to do something, you know, he just didn't want anything to stand in his way. And I think maybe that's why sometimes he kind of maybe stepped on some toes, because he couldn't understand why people didn't see things his way.
He had a vision. He had a vision, he had a dream. And he put his commitment to it. He put his all to it.
What struck me was his heart for the poor. So he was not going to charge anyone. He was going to raise the funds. At that time, he didn't have the support of this massive foundation, which we have now.
Connaught Clinic was just one small house. That's where it all started.
I admired the clinic right from the beginning.
We were a family. We worked together very closely.
We had a little 2-roomed lab at the back and a tiny little pharmacy, which was, I think, a former kitchen.
I wouldn't talk about Connaught Clinic without mentioning Rosie. I believe she was on his side, holding his hand all the time. Rosie, she made our first capsules for pediatrics.
Making the Mapiriti in that time was a great challenge to me, and it did mean a lot to me because I could finally be a part of the team, and it made me proud.
It was an exciting time. I mean, it was a time where nothing was really being done for pediatric HIV.
But he was always on the lookout for how can we treat more? And he had this vision for this massive clinic. Like, wow, could we do that? He said we could do it. So we built this which has now 12 consulting rooms, an emergency room, a lab, on-site pharmacy, which we've expanded, and then had vision, we need to train more. How can we train more? Now we are in this double-story building with admin and enormous training rooms.
Over the years, he started the training school here, and he has led by example, and he has trained literally thousands of healthcare workers in the country.
Prof revolutionized HIV care in my mind. This was a world that was dominated by clinicians. He believed in the capacity of nurses. He put nurses like myself at the forefront of HIV treatment and care and showed the world what can be done.
He empowered the nurse. He saw the potential in us, and he respected the nurse. He allowed us to perform to our best.
So this was what I'd call a paradigm shift. It was something that we didn't think was going to be doable, but he pulled it off.
Speaking to the patients, they will tell you, when I came here, I felt different. And it was because of the warmness that's in this place, and he's the one who taught us that.
The kindness he shows to patients, it shows that he's unique from other people.
He sees beyond the illness, the diagnosis, the disease. He sees the inner person.
It's not about you being that data of person living with HIV. It's more about seeing you as a person, because I'm more than HIV, I'm more than the ARVs I receive. Made me feel like I'm a human as well.
This day when you see people who enter the gate, you can't tell whether they are staff or patients.
Thousands of people that are at Newlands Clinic would have lost their lives had it not been for this man.
Without food, without medication, we would have been dead. I'm strong, I'm having my medication, I'm drinking my tablets for free. The people are living because of the Prof.
Behind this project is a team of great people. Actually, when we could see this team working with the patients, with the engagement and enthusiasm and open transparency, we were absolutely convinced we have to support this project.
If you look at our staff turnover for an organization, very, very few people leave Newlands Clinic, because once you enter Newlands Clinic, you become part of a family.
Personally, when I think of Ruedi and his family, they're like my family, my own family. And Ruedi, to me, is a father figure.
We adore Prof's absolute determination that if he believes something could and should be done, he will do it.
He is sometimes, only sometimes, stubborn.
When I get tired or when I just think, no, this is too overwhelming now, we're finished here as a public health system, I'd remember those words, but hey, we're still here. Ruedi's still standing. Ruedi never gave up. I must not give up.
He didn't need to do everything that he did. I mean, if he had not come to Zimbabwe, so what? No one was ever going to judge him for that.
Prof has made a lot of sacrifices. When he decides this has to be done, and if he thinks you can do it, if he sees the potential in you, failure is not an option.
I don't remember any time where I felt what he was asking of me was impossible.
He's taught me to get out of my comfort zone. He pushed me to do things that I thought I couldn't do.
He taught me, Prof taught me something. Not to be pushed, but to be self-controlled and do whatever you are doing. Do it willingly.
Actually, Ruedi is, without doubt, a great personality and a man with a great heart for all these patients.
He loves, not likes, he loves his profession. It's more than a job. Despite of all the honors he got during all the years, he is modest, and that's what counts, and that's why I love him.
The biggest milestone was being recognized as a center of excellence in the training of HIV/AIDS.
We're a model of an antiretroviral HIV care. We're a model training institute. That's all Ruedi's vision.
He's had such an effect on my life and all of our lives for those that have had the privilege of working with him and being his colleague, being his friend. And I can't thank him enough for that. I'm in awe of the work that Prof has done and achieved, and it's been a huge inspiration to me personally in my own work, but also in my personal life.
I was married when I came here, but my husband was a violent man. Because of Prof and this place, I managed to free myself from that violent man. Right now, I am happy.
Prof has had a huge impact in my life.
I think he will forever be my mentor.
We all wish we could be like him.
I don't want to be selfish. I want to help other people. I want to follow the professor's steps.
I hope he recognizes the love he's instilled in each and every one of us.
I wish him good health and happiness, the happiness he deserves.
He is a leader, and so he has to work on this, not to be the leader anymore.
We thank you for everything. We thank you for every Zimbabwean life you have touched.
May the Lord increase your years to 1,000 if it's possible, to 1,000, because we don't want to lose you. We want you to be alive forever.
May COVID not take you.